That's all right. I think that this is going to be a pretty incredible. We do have Vola bans on both sides, as Ricky wants to lead with his trusty old 𝗂𝗵𝗶. Doesn't want to fight the perfect counter, really, in Volarend. And Matt Gia, of course, with his Toxic Tems, will never fight a Volarend. That will always be the first ban.
Yeah, and it's usually 𝗧𝗵𝗵𝗶 with the 𝗂𝗵𝗶 here, but Ricky Tam bringing one of his own. So how does he want to answer? You know, with that Volarend ban from 𝗏𝗏𝗽𝗏, it's the perfect ban. What is a good answer to the 𝗂𝗵𝗶? I guess some physical pressure, maybe 𝗬𝗚𝗚, but toxic skin is toxic skin. You don't want to do too much because eventually that will start adding up. So I like this start from 𝗏𝗏𝗽𝗏 here. Oh, bold play. Maybe it's the good 1-2 punch, 𝗏𝗏𝗽𝗏 and 𝗏𝗀𝗪. Let's see if it goes down the way it's always gone down for snrplat, but he's hovering 𝗧𝗵𝗆. This is already spicy if he does go that way, and it does. Okay. Interesting start.
This seems a little weird. snrplat is giving 𝗏𝗏𝗽𝗏 the perfect 𝗏𝗏𝗃 lead, if I do say so myself. It is a bit of a what are you gonna do about it that we've seen from a couple of other players. I think Gold and maybe even Kanzaki recently, with heat up 𝗧𝗵𝗆 and madness buff Naga. You can only target one spot. The other one's gonna do a lot of damage later. But of course, 𝗏𝗏𝗽𝗏 picks the 𝗏𝗏𝗃 as it's definitely needed for all these toxic Tems. It was going to be banned if it wasn't picked, and it's still a really good lead.
Yeah, and I completely understand picking up this 𝗧𝗵𝗆. Taking a look at 𝗏𝗏𝗽𝗏's team, you got the 𝗬𝗚𝗚, the Sapphire, the Scunch. The ban mix is, of course, banned, but 𝗧𝗵𝗆 is super impactful into all those Tems. Even the 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃 is half effective, but of course, 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃 not super tanky. So hey, Matt Gia does recruit the tanky toxic boys 𝗂𝗵𝗆 and 𝗏𝗀𝗪, and you know, pretty much on the other side of the spectrum is gonna be the speedy, hard-hitting boys getting recruited for 𝗏𝗏𝗽𝗏. That's kind of just what he's always been known for, so this is a really good pickup. How does snrplat close it out? 𝗵𝗂𝗃 and 𝗏𝗏𝗽𝗏 are his options.
You know, I definitely see the value of 𝗏𝗏𝗽𝗏 here, but I think 𝗵𝗂𝗃 is just a must. The parrier trait and being able to pretty much hard counter both Scunch and 𝗬𝗚𝗚 is definitely what snrplat needs.
Alright, so we had a small hiccup as we waited for Ricky Tan to get back into Temtem, but we are here. It is semifinals time. Two-time champion 𝗏𝗏𝗽𝗏 going against five-time champion snrplat. So this is the battle of the champions. Who will be moving forward to the finals? This best-of-3 match will decide, but we are just in game 1, so let's see how everything goes down. And yeah, hey, 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃, you really think it's what you're gonna do about it? Heat up madness buff? I feel like that's risky against 𝗏𝗏𝗽𝗏's squad right here.
It definitely is risky. I don't think that 𝗧𝗵𝗆 is staying in. That would be just a little bit too much, especially when you've got Tems like 𝗏𝗀𝗪 or 𝗂𝗵𝗆 in the back that are perfectly fine here. But that also means, you know, maybe play a bit of a mind game. Maybe 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏's going to use Wind Burst instead of Beta Burst, and staying in with 𝗧𝗵𝗆, taking advantage of the heat up while it's might actually be the good play for snrplat. He does retreat Naga for 𝗵𝗂𝗃, giving himself some melee synergy for next turn if he wants it. Toxic Ink into the 𝗵𝗂𝗃 only does 6%. But now 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃, what is 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃 thinking about? Which one does he click? It is Hypoxia from this 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃 on the 𝗵𝗂𝗃, so it is a fantastic read, just subverting parrier down to 30% already, and a perfect jab on the 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃.
Interesting. So foregoing every type of setup, 𝗧𝗵𝗆 does not get a heat up, rather goes for the -1 defense on the 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃. And as you said, fantastic read. Either, you know, you do neutral damage on the Nagais, or you catch in one of those toxic Tems to pick your poison. It literally pick your poison because 3 toxic Temtems in the back. Hypoxia was gonna do double damage to one of them. So really good recognition. 𝗏𝗂𝗍 with a slight tempo lead starting off. Let's see if he's able to keep it going forward into these next couple turns. I'm wondering what that perfect jab was about. I guess he's trying to go ham with this 𝗧𝗵𝗶𝗶 here.
Yeah, potentially. Thinking back from a couple of the recent tournaments, I actually don't think that Senior Plat is running heat up on 𝗧𝗵𝗶, so that may have been a miscall early on. Just expecting every 𝗧𝗵𝗶 has heat up, right? But I think that instead, Senior Plat goes for a little bit more of a tanky build, gives himself Stonewall, makes it a Tem that's able to bulk up his friends, perfect jab his enemies, and just hang out for a little while. And I guess it worked as 𝗏𝗏𝗍 decides to bring Scunch instead of 𝗏𝗏𝗍. Doesn't want to take a 𝗧𝗵𝗶 with that minus, but instead it's perfect jab on 𝗏𝗏𝗶. So potentially Senior Plat reading this perfectly, double perfect spot. And there's really not much he can do. I mean, Ice Stalactite is good damage thanks to the Toxic Ticks. It's doing more than half. 𝗧𝗵𝗶 will die if he stays in this turn as long as 𝗏𝗏𝗶 has Water Jet. But with -2 defense on 𝗏𝗏𝗶, that might already be enough.
Yeah, but I'm trying to see what Temtem is actually going to be doing the big boy damage. There's actually not a big physical attacker on Senior Plat. Maybe 𝗏𝗍𝗃, but 𝗏𝗍𝗃 is at 32%. I mean, not the big physical attacker, but you know, little by little, 2 to 3 uppercuts should do it. And as you said, 𝗧𝗵𝗶 is looking like he's able to not, you know, able to get off something, but that Water Jet, if he stays in, will close him out for this first game. So yeah, Senior Plat haven't done too much, just setting up for the potential damage. I'm just not seeing where this damage will be going, but of course Senior Plat, one of the best to ever do it, so I'm pretty sure he could figure it out. Here goes direct into a 𝗬𝗧𝗇.
Yeah, 𝗬𝗬𝗧 swapping in to protect his 𝗏𝗏𝗶 friend. That's not what I was expecting to say when I woke up this morning, but it is indeed what happens. 𝗧𝗵𝗶 will still fall down thanks to ET the Scunch, and 𝗬𝗬𝗧 is down to 15% before it's able to do anything, thanks to this 𝗏𝗍𝗃. And I think the answer for where those perfect jabs, where that damage is going to come from, might actually be 𝗏𝗏𝗶. I think Toxic Inks and maybe even Water Jet towards 𝗏𝗏𝗍 would do quite a lot thanks to those minus defenses. I think, you know, maybe he needed to hit ETE, the Scunch, and maybe even 𝗂𝗶𝗆 as well, just to try to make it go a little faster, because I think 𝗏𝗏𝗶 can't really hurt 𝗏𝗍𝗃 or Gul'Dur at all.
Yeah, very true. It could also be those harmful licks from the Gul'Dur. I mean, Gul'Dur can't take too much damage from those Temtems too. Of course, 𝗏𝗏𝗍 big damage on the Gul'Dur, but if you get rid of the 𝗏𝗏𝗍, then yeah, those harmful licks as well as the 𝗏𝗏𝗶, as you said, maybe that is Senior Plat's game plan. Of course, he does indeed have one. Out comes the Nagai, so the Sea Aura is online. So these Temtems on the side of 𝗏𝗏𝗍, they're very speedy, so they should be going last. And it look, oh, Madness buff, that is risky. Oh, it looks like 𝗏𝗏𝗍 might have called the bluff here.
Yeah, I mean, the uppercut kills 𝗬𝗬𝗧, so there's no Crystal Bite for Naga. Perfect jab from the Scunch. I mean, that's definitely good. That means that maybe 𝗏𝗏𝗃 can bring down Naga this coming turn if he wants to stick. Yeah, if he wants to stick in here, because now he is down to 59% thanks to the self-damage. -1 defense. He's not holding on to the Strange Vest, so he definitely takes this damage from Toxic Ink.
Yeah, 100% agree with that 𝗏𝗏𝗃 going into the Nagai. So Senior Plat most likely understanding that that's probably going down, looking at swapping into that Gul'Dur or the 𝗏𝗏𝗃 on the back line. But this Scunch has been getting away in the presence of a mental Temtem like Nagai. So Ricky Tan living life on the edge, but knows he's not too threatened. As you said, a -1 defense Toxic Ink should bring Nagai's all the way down. So I don't think Senior Plat is going to be risking that. I believe 𝗏𝗏𝗃 has been tech to underspeed, aka, you know, go first against the Nagais here. So we could be seeing a swap into that Gul'Dur or the 𝗏𝗏𝗃. I guess, oh, well, ET has the chamomile, so Toxic Skin won't be applied, or won't do huge impact. I think either or is fine. Hmm.
This is a pretty complicated situation. One hand, if Naga's able to bring down Skunch, I mean, 𝗬𝗪𝗀 is already gone. You could potentially say it's done its job. But on the other hand, there's still a 𝗬𝗪𝗀 in the back, and there's still a 𝗬𝗺𝗀 that somehow, some way, snrplat needs to take down. With all these toxic Tems, that is asking quite a bit. 𝗬𝗪𝗀 does swap in for the Naga, though doesn't want to risk its life this turn. Oh, and 𝗬𝗪𝗀, he's just barely holding on after that savage suplex. All the turns go through, no deaths, but definitely better HP on the side of 𝗬𝗪𝗀 for this turn.
Yeah, definitely. And as you said, barely holding on. That parry or double screen doing so much for 𝗬𝗪𝗀. Maybe able to get off a final set if the Skunch wants to retreat. He doesn't have 𝗬𝗪𝗡 online anymore. That has expired. Those first 4 turns of immunity has gone by. So if he wants to do big damage on the 𝗬𝗪𝗀, he's going to have to reciprocate a little bit of those toxic skins towards himself. And yeah, I think he overexerts to do that too, so could be retreating. The question is to what? I mean, 𝗬𝗺𝗀 feels okay, but a double up into the 𝗬𝗺𝗀 spot at a -1 defense is going to do a decent amount of damage. I don't think it'll kill though, so maybe 𝗬𝗺𝗀 just to get a big tornado the following turn could be the line of play.
There was a play that snrplat made. I'm trying to remember who it was against. Potentially 𝗬𝗃𝗏 during a recent 𝗧𝗵𝗵𝗶 tournament, where he over and over again refused to kill a Tem, and a couple of viewers in the chat were wondering why, you know, so many turn after turn after turn, 𝗬𝗪𝗀 wasn't killing any Tems. And I think we might see something similar out of him right now, because Barn side, he's -1 defense. If he swaps in, that's just taking needless damage. So I think if 𝗬𝗪𝗀 is able to do a lot of damage and not quite kill anybody right away, he might be able to pull through with 𝗬𝗪𝗀 and 𝗀𝗪 in the end.
Yeah, I believe so. I think those are going to be the ones. So that's why we saw those P-jabs early on. So we'll see. As you said, tricky turn here in turn 6. I guess I give a slight edge to snrplat, but I still think it's insanely close.
Yeah, it looks like perfect jab for this 𝗬𝗪𝗀. He wants to lower that defense. 𝗬𝗪𝗀 onto ETE, so he is delaying a little bit. The strangle on the 𝗬𝗪𝗀 means he can't do anything here. ETE doesn't have enough stamina to do anything, and snrplat's got a pretty free turn to do whatever he pleases.
Yeah, I didn't see it. Did the Skunch overexert right there, or was it...
I had unfortunately looked away for a moment, so I did not see the Skunch's stamina.
Yeah, it definitely got lower, but I'm not seeing a P-jab on anything unless the 𝗬𝗪𝗀 on snrplat just received that P-jab. But I don't think the toxic skin applied, so I didn't catch it what exactly he did. We'll have to look back. But this 𝗬𝗪𝗀 probably going down here. Skunch should be able to outspeed, but maybe not, because if you overexert, I think Skunch is going to be going all the way down from those toxic ticks alone. So this is a tough position for 𝗬𝗪𝗀 to be in right now. It looked tough for 𝗬𝗪𝗀 starting off, but as we were approaching this mid-game area, it's starting to look slightly better for snrplat. Because ET the Skunch does not want to overexert.
Ooh, Ricky does take a bit of a risk. He brings the 𝗬𝗪𝗀 in on a live turn, as snrplat brings 𝗀𝗪 in for 𝗬𝗪𝗀 as well, potentially expecting Skunch to overexert itself. It does for this savage suplex. 𝗵𝗶 eats that very nicely. But now 𝗬𝗪𝗀 is here. 𝗬𝗪𝗀 is mad. 𝗬𝗪𝗀 takes the 𝗬𝗪𝗀, but because of its neutrality trait, there are no toxic ticks to be found.
Yeah, not too bad. And like you said, Ricky Tan not prioritizing this 𝗬𝗪𝗀, and this 𝗬𝗪𝗀 getting decent value turn after turn, hasn't overexerted. It would have been huge value if the Euroshow did connect on an air specialist 𝗬𝗪𝗀, but as you said, neutrality taking all that away. But hey, because that -1 defense still did a decent chunk of damage. But now that 𝗵𝗺 out on the board, Tornado's online, that should be going huge damage, I guess, into the 𝗂𝗀𝗺. But then that would leave the 𝗵𝗂𝗃 for another turn. That would maybe be another P-jab on the 𝗵𝗺. Do you just kill the 𝗵𝗂𝗃 here?
He could use an energy manipulation onto 𝗵𝗂𝗃 and just try to get that damage done, try to knock it out. But I think giving Naga free reign to enter the field is not what 𝗬𝗏𝗎𝗂 is after right now. Although, that being said, Naga is a pretty safe swap as it does have the +2 special defense, and 𝗵𝗺's the only one that can attack this turn. So 𝗂𝗀𝗺 does retreat. It is Naga coming into play. So really, 𝗬𝗏𝗎𝗂, if he doesn't target down 𝗵𝗂𝗃 this turn, he's not going to accomplish very much at all. Turbo choreography on the opposing side. And 𝗬𝗏𝗃 going faster. 𝗵𝗂𝗃 being used onto this Naga. It still does decent damage, but certainly not enough to call that a GG by any means.
Yeah, and now the 𝗂𝗶𝗵 could come out for free for this 𝗂𝗂𝗶𝗵. And we're seeing exactly that. 𝗬𝗏𝗎𝗂 bringing out the 𝗂𝗂𝗶𝗵. What does snrplat? Of course, the 𝗂𝗀𝗺, this dynamic duo 𝗵𝗶𝗺, able to protect the Nagais and then Nagais. I guess if you're able to kill the 𝗵𝗺 and then the 𝗵𝗶𝗺 just gets popped by 𝗂𝗂𝗶𝗵, I think snrplat has this one under control. The question is, I guess, does a beta burst / side search kill the 𝗵𝗺 at this 69%? It is a madness buff, Nagais.
I'm thinking a little bit more about 𝗂𝗶𝗵 this turn. Knowing Ricky, knowing his typical all the time.
And
so
say again, 𝗵𝗺. I'm so sorry. Say again.
If Ricky will always ban the Naga when he's given that opportunity. Since he left it in for this game, I'm wondering if 𝗂𝗶𝗵 has drill on. I'm wondering if he's not even worried about this. Maybe swap out. Oh no, 𝗂𝗶𝗵 retreats. I thought maybe retreat the 𝗵𝗺 for Sapphire just to keep the wind alive a little longer. Harmful lick though onto this Sapphire that would have done so much damage with the -2 defense. Side Surge as well, doubling down on Sapphire. It's enough to bring him down without any impact whatsoever. But there really wasn't much for him to do, so I guess that's okay.
And yeah, no 𝗵𝗶𝗺 this time, but Ricky Tan finding himself with the final 2 Temtems remaining. Maybe just didn't want to eat. Yeah, I think that was a kill potential there. Harmful lick into side surge. It looks like it would have got the 𝗂𝗶𝗵 all the way down. So good swap out. But we find ourselves in the same situation as the previous turn. Ricky Tan has to pray this toxic ink kills, but now I think the 𝗂𝗀𝗺 will go for the 𝗵𝗶𝗺. So this is a tough situation for the side of 𝗬𝗏𝗎𝗂.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, now 𝗵𝗺's too low on stamina. He's likely not going to survive much longer. And if it comes down to 𝗬𝗏𝗎𝗂's -2 50% 𝗂𝗶𝗵 versus snrplat's -1 70% 𝗂𝗶𝗵, I mean, just based on the numbers there, we know who's going to win.
Exactly, and -2 defense as well. So yeah, snrplat looking good. 𝗬𝗏𝗎𝗂, I see 3 seconds on the reserve. I hope he clicked his team. Okay, so it looks like 𝗏𝗍 was the one that didn't click it. So just thinking carefully. But it seems somewhat straightforward unless you want to kill the 𝗂𝗶𝗵 first. Because I guess if you don't kill the 𝗂𝗶𝗵, 𝗵𝗺 kills, or no, if you don't kill the 𝗵𝗺, I guess 𝗵𝗺 kills the 𝗂𝗀𝗺. So you don't have any 𝗵𝗶𝗺 for the following turns.
Yeah, I think 𝗵𝗺 has to be the target here. Take advantage while it's low on stamina. You know, you might be risking Naga's life if maybe 𝗂𝗶𝗵 does have drill and is able to get through a 𝗵𝗶𝗺. But I think at the end, if it, you know, keeping snrplat's 𝗂𝗶𝗵 safe in the back means that he wins as long as 𝗵𝗺's gone. But no, snrplat, he swaps out Naga. He brings in 𝗂𝗶𝗵, which means 𝗵𝗺 survives this turn. 𝗵𝗶𝗺 onto itself from 𝗂𝗀𝗺, so he doesn't want to die, save himself a little longer. Toxic Ink onto 𝗬𝗏𝗃 means they're both 50% now, and Barnes exerts to try and bring down 𝗂𝗀𝗺.
Yeah, not too bad. Good read for snrplat, knowing 𝗏𝗀𝗃 really wanted to take down 𝗂𝗀𝗺, and that was a big overexertion on the 𝗏𝗏𝗃, and just so much value there, because 𝗏𝗏𝗃, the huge damage dealer against snrplat's toxic team, and that's unusable for these next turns, or this turn rather. So now could just focus up on this 𝗬𝗏𝗃's harmful lick, something like a toxic ink, or you go into 𝗏𝗏𝗃 there.
Yeah, I mean, that was a free kill onto 𝗏𝗏𝗃. 𝗬𝗏𝗃 on snrplat's side only being -1 means he's not going down. And Little Asia's 𝗬𝗏𝗃, he's -2 defense. He's staring down 2 physical Tems, and he concedes for game 1, going to Magia.
snrplat's corner.
Yeah, so back into pick bans. I wonder if Rikki-Tan's going to do something a little bit different this time. Volerend, of course, is always going to have value, but maybe banning Naga is a little bit smarter. Maybe even banning one of the perfect jab users. Get rid of that size munch. Make life just a little bit easier.
Yeah, you know, we never got to see the item on this 𝗬𝗏𝗃, so it could very well be a drill, but I think he heard your advice here, Rawrzyyy. He does get rid of the Nagais, so let's see if this game goes a little bit different, because Nagais did give 𝗂𝗀𝗺 a lot of value with those bamboozles, with it going first regardless, and that's a key piece to snrplat's team, but of course, we know he has many threats, so let's see. It looks like, you know, with Nagais 𝗂𝗀𝗺 being taken out, maybe he goes 𝗬𝗏𝗃's 𝗬𝗏𝗽𝗃. That doesn't feel all that bad.
Yeah, 𝗬𝗏𝗃's 𝗬𝗏𝗽𝗃 does give him the Synergy Master Water Cutting Lily, which on its own probably doesn't kill Skunch, but combined with a Toxic Ink just might get the job done on turn 1.
I definitely agree. I'm recalling from the previous game, it is a chamomile, so maybe slightly under without those toxic ticks, but it might just be perfectly perfect damage to take it all the way down. If snrplat does go with that classic opening he's known for recently, maybe 𝗏𝗏𝗃 feels good into that, or I'm trying to think what would be the counter pick there, because Little Asia does have blue side, so what is he thinking here?
Yeah, I mean, for Little Asia, I think 𝗏𝗏𝗃's a must, right? I mean, 𝗬𝗏𝗃 gets picked. That means that there will be no wind for Little Asia this game. snrplat's toxic Tems are feeling so safe now, especially with Naga being banned. I felt like 𝗏𝗏𝗃 was a little bit more free, as he could tornado with ease and not have to worry about going last.
Yeah, and of course, maybe it was a bit of a bait. That 4x damage from toxic techniques, it was too much for Little Asia to pass up. So once they get that toxic ink staring him down, saying, Matt, if you WCL my Skunch, I will toxic ink your 𝗬𝗏𝗽𝗃 down to the ground. So let's see who's gonna stay in. But you're exactly right. Looking at snrplat's team, 𝗬𝗏𝗃, Mashuk, 𝗂𝗀𝗺, how are we doing big damage to those without any win Tems? Really good pick and bans for snrplat, but I don't think Little Asia's out of this whatsoever.
I do like Mix, though. I think that getting that Puppet Master into play, I mean, potentially the only AoE technique that snrplat has would be Toxic Plume on Volerend. There's always the potential for Tsunami on 𝗬𝗏𝗃. We've seen that a couple of times. But otherwise, 𝗏𝗽 is all single target, Mashuk is all single target, and 𝗬𝗏𝗃 is all single target. So maybe if Mix can get itself into Puppet Master and keep his friendly 𝗬𝗏𝗃 next to him, he might just get the job done.
Yeah, I like that a lot. That might have to carry the weight of this team. But hey, the 𝗬𝗏𝗃 very strong in its own. The Monkey out decently strong. I don't think it's gonna do a whole lot against snrplat's team. But here goes the 𝗬𝗏𝗃. So let's see. Oh, okay. Both tamers playing it safe, not risking the toxic ink. not risking the scunch going down. So let's see just what the attacks were done.
Yeah, it is Toxic Ink towards that Volorend and Strangle onto 𝗬𝗧𝗵𝗶. So no Crystal Bite turn 2 for you, my friend.
Yeah, not too shabby there. Anything that came into that spot. 𝗂𝗶𝗵𝗶, I think snrplat uses Strangle so well just as an opener. Not letting 𝗬𝗧𝗵𝗶 go with that big damage Crystal Bite, as you said. So now maybe game time for this Volorend to start to set up. I believe snrplat loves to play his anaerobic Volorend, so Noxious Bomb / Toxic Plume not going to be doing big damage unless, or big value, unless a Crystal 𝗬𝗧𝗵𝗶 joins this Volorend side. -1 attack on 𝗬𝗧𝗵𝗶, -1 attack on 𝗂𝗶𝗵𝗶. That seems pretty valuable. So how does Little Asia prepare for that? If that is indeed the line of play snrplat is considering, it doesn't seem all that bad.
Yeah, I mean, really, that would be potentially checkmate for 𝗬𝗧𝗵𝗶 if he stays in, takes the plume as snrplat does, bring in his crystal 𝗬𝗧𝗵𝗶 friend. It's got to be the Toxic Plume. Oh no, Little Asia brings out another physical attacker. Toxic Plume comes through minus attack on the 2 Tems that really need to have that attack to bring down this Volorend, as everybody else on Little Asia's team is going to be special attacking power, and Volorend has already started to bulk himself up. +1 special to +2. It's going to be +3. And it had to be these 2 Tems, the 𝗵𝗂𝗽𝗇, the 𝗬𝗧𝗵𝗶, doing physical damage to bring down Volorend.
Exactly right. Now the weight holds on Scunch's shoulder to try to take down this Volorend, because Mix won't be able to do it once this Volorend really starts stacking up that special defense procs, as it usually always does. But hey, -1 attack, not the craziest reduction. It is super impactful. So we'll see. We'll see if Ricky's gonna try to come back from this. We believe 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 does have a heat up though, so at least you come up to +1. Let's see if he does go for it.
Yeah, that is a bit of a saving grace there. He does get the +1. Feather Gatling means that it's not going to be +2 special defense on Volorend, although it is quite a bit of damage, and the 𝗵𝗂𝗽𝗇 and 𝗵𝗂𝗃 really doesn't mind out. And 𝗧𝗵𝗵𝗏 isn't the best option for Volorend either, so it may just be an uppercut. This is still a pretty good turn for snrplat, just because of that minus attack on 𝗬𝗧𝗵𝗶.
Yeah, I could definitely see in snrplat. We saw the game plan with the 𝗵𝗂𝗃 earlier. It's just P-jab, P-jab, P-jab. So it looks like he might be starting that game plan early here in game number 3 as well. But the 𝗵𝗂𝗽𝗇 will be retreating, and out comes the Mix, maybe hoping to fall into Puppet Master range this turn, but no attacks most likely from that. Well, we're seeing no attacks from 𝗵𝗂𝗃, just a good turbo.
Yeah, turbo into HKS, into the Mix. 55% is not Puppet Master. That means Mix is afraid for its life, as any strong hitting moves now will just Puppet Master threshold, and it'll kill Mix.
Yeah, I definitely agree. This 𝗬𝗧𝗵𝗶 in the backline for snrplat, easily enough to take it down. Perhaps a WCL2 if it does have the water synergy with the 25% additional synergy master bonus. I think it will be enough for the Mix if that situation arises, but I don't think Little Asia keeps it in that situation. So we'll see. This Mix potentially able to still get set up, because you can't do a single attack. Oh, the Uriel though is so beautiful, and yeah, the double up, such well calculation coming out from snrplat's corner.
Yeah, that is a guaranteed kill on the Mix now. He does get one last Psy Surge off, thanks to its 1.7% HP. So that's a nice little bit of damage on the 𝗵𝗂𝗃. It was definitely needed, as now everybody else is going to be triggering that parrier. Quite a bit of utility left, especially tenderness. If we can see more tenderness come through, drop the attack of ETE, drop the attack of 𝗵𝗂𝗽𝗇 back down, I mean, 𝗵𝗃 could definitely be the game-winning piece.
Yeah, and speaking of 𝗬𝗃, the Skunch making his debut here in Game 3, or not debut, but debut for this game. Can he provide the value? 𝗏𝗏𝗚 needs to swing things back around because right now he's a bit behind. It's just first time on the board though, so P-Jab, the only thing available to him. Voldaren back with the HKS, but this is an anaerobic Voldaren, so those aren't the crazy hard-hitting HKS as we saw previously in the Swiss rounds. So might be electing to switch it out. Maybe a 𝗂𝗶𝗃 for toxic skin value. We'll see.
I feel like protecting Voldaren could be pretty nice. It is +2, so if you're able to get any more wind damage onto 𝗏𝗏𝗚's 𝗂𝗶𝗃, that would definitely be worth swapping out and saving Voldaren for. You know, there are a couple of Temts back here. I mean, snrplat, he led with this 𝗂𝗶𝗃 𝗂𝘁, and we haven't seen any of that Synergy Master Water Cutting Lily yet. This wouldn't be a terrible board state for it. There's nothing that directly counters that Nature 𝗂𝘁, but it is going to be just another perfect jab. 𝗬𝗂𝗃 goes down -1. Feather Gatling brings 𝗬𝗂𝗃 to 34%, and Skunch happily takes advantage of a very injured Voldaren and takes the first kill for 𝗏𝗏𝗚 this game.
Yeah, looks like he feels pretty confident dealing with the 𝗂𝗶𝗃 without the Voldaren. And here in comes the 𝗂𝘁, the Nature 𝗂𝘁. There's no toxic Tems on the current board for 𝗏𝗏𝗚, so this is a decent board state to be. Of course, Skunch does have Savage Suplex online, so it does have to be a bit careful. But hey, we could see the 𝗵𝗃 swapping in for 𝗂𝗶𝗃, get that synergy online, and that should be big boy damage. 𝗬𝗂𝗃 definitely can't take the brunt of that force. And 𝗬𝗃, the Skunch, looking at over 50%, I want to say. So will be a good trade to do that with. So we'll see. That seems reasonable. Could just leave the 𝗵𝗃 in for more P-Jabs, right? 𝗵𝗃 doesn't seem to be falling. Maybe from a double up, but with the WCL being online as it always is, -1 defense 𝗬𝗂𝗃, I think 𝗬𝗂𝗃 has to go for a sharp stat, which might be the only thing he's able to get off, because this WCL might be staring him down. But Skunch retreats, thinking he was going to go into that. Let's see if he made the right call.
Yeah, 𝗂𝗶𝗃 does come out for the Skunch's perfect jab. Punches our squid in the face, dropping its defense. Sharp stabs as well onto 𝗵𝗃. Maybe thinking there was a swap coming in, maybe just hoping to accomplish something. But barrier means nothing happens. Water Cutting Lily, absolutely. No, it doesn't hit 𝗬𝗂𝗃, it hits 𝗂𝗶𝗃. 𝗂𝗶𝗃 down below 50% now. And absolutely, I mean, this could be another perfect jab even, and absolutely guarantee murder on anything that could come in to this 𝗂𝗶𝗃 spot.
And man, this Wardrum 𝗂𝘁, Ricky Tan read the play. He said, you're not even going to attack my 𝗬𝗂𝗃, you're going to attack the Skunch, so let's bring in this 𝗂𝗶𝗃. But it still feels, he read the play, but it still feels that he got punished for it, right? The P-Jab WCL on a 𝗂𝗂𝗃, bringing it under 50%. That's some impressive damage. So much so that it feels like 𝗂𝗂𝗃 is the one not safe here. An uppercut WCL should be outspeeding the 𝗂𝗂𝗃. So that Toxic Ink, that 4x damage, I don't think is going to be connecting on this Nature 𝗂𝘁. So maybe snrplat just sits tight and tries to go for it. Do you think that kills Rawrzyyy? Uppercut WCL on this 𝗂𝗂𝗃 here?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, 𝗂𝗂𝗃 came in at 100% last turn, and now he's down below 50. So it'll certainly kill with a double in. 𝗬𝗃, the Skunch, is going to swap in for 𝗬𝗂𝗃, be a little bit of a save here. Get some more holds up for its attacks, and it is perfect jab onto 𝗂𝗂𝗃. Water Cutting Lily from this 𝗂𝘁 is just going to decimate 𝗂𝗂𝗃 down to 0 just like that. The War Drum, as you mentioned, it was -2. No toxic damage went into this Nature 𝗂𝘁, so he's perfectly safe now. He can leave, he can come back later with 𝗂𝗂𝗃 and just hard counter 𝗧𝗵𝗆.
Yeah, Nature 𝗂𝘁 is such a beast. Like, you would never ask any top level player. They'll say, yeah, 𝗂𝗂𝗃 could tank some WCLs very well, but you know, With no wind Temtems remaining, 𝗧𝗵𝗺 taking down a 𝗂𝗶𝗵 with a nature Temtem. Unheard of, or not completely unheard of, but very impressive stuff. 𝗧𝗵𝗺 just very comfortable and knows a lot of the damage potential from this nature 𝗂𝘀𝗶H, and we're seeing it here. No Temtem is safe. The saving grace for 𝗏𝗏𝗍𝗔 though, you're out of stamina, so can this 𝗂𝘀𝗶H survive long enough?
Yeah, Ninja Jutsu does a lot of damage onto 𝗂𝘀𝗶H. Doesn't quite kill though, but 𝗵𝗂𝗃 does overexert for that perfect jab onto 𝗧𝗵𝗃. Water Cutting Lily as well is going to do so much damage, but 𝗂𝘀𝗶H overexerts itself, and a hook kick from in mind. 𝗵𝗂𝗃 doesn't care one bit. He's melee type of his own. He's parrier. He's double screen. That did like 6%.
Yeah, and funny enough, 𝗧𝗵𝗺 hasn't even touched a couple of his Tems yet, so 𝗂𝗶𝗵 is making his first appearance on the board, and doesn't even mind the current board from 𝗏𝗏𝗍𝗃. He has Toxic Ink online. Chamomile has expired for ETE, so has to be careful. But you got only the monkey in the back, so anything is taking these toxic ticks. And if you attack into 𝗂𝗶𝗵, you're gonna be taking the toxic ticks from the toxic skin. So this is looking very rough for the side of 𝗏𝗏𝗍𝗃. I think 𝗧𝗵𝗺 might have solidified his ticket straight to the finals, but we'll see with these next couple turns.
Yeah, I think a lot of it depends on what happens to 𝗂𝗶𝗵 here. The Crystal Bite overexertion does come through. Attack, it was never going to do that much damage. 𝗂𝗶𝗵 is down to 40%, but the Toxic Ink onto ETE, it's enough to kill even without the Toxic Ticks. That means it is 𝗏𝗂𝗽𝗃. He has to be the one to do it. He has to somehow take down 𝗂𝗂𝗵𝗵 as well as 𝗬𝗧𝗏 this turn.
And yeah, you know what? That wasn't toxic skin. We would expect at least one toxic tick, right? 𝗬𝗧𝗏's being resistant. Would have at least just taken one, but it looks like it's a mucus one. Cause right, the 𝗬𝗧𝗏 didn't get any toxic ticks, right?
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely understand mucus being the choice for 𝗧𝗵𝗺 with so many other toxic tick dealing Tems. Maybe he just didn't want to double up, get the advantages of mucus instead. But sharp stabs, it's going to is all on his own. He goes for the 𝗧𝗵𝗺. It's all he can do. It's what he needs the most. It doesn't bring down either Tem, though. 𝗬𝗧𝗏 survives in the red. 𝗂𝗂𝗵𝗏 survives swimmingly. And 𝗏𝗂𝗽 takes way too much damage from a water jet. He's down to 20% and 3 Tems left to go. His advantage, if you could call it that, is he resists damage from 𝗬𝗧𝗏, and he has AoE for the following turn. Maybe a dim-mak?
Yeah, dim-mak the 𝗂𝗶𝗵. Hook kick and crystal bite can't do anything, and then you gotta spray and pray your 𝗧𝗵𝗺 gets the job done. Cause sharp stab won't. It's gonna be close. We're talking about 20% remaining, but hook kick does it. All right, never underestimate the power of a 𝗬𝗧𝗏. But wait, where was the dim-mak? Maybe Ricky Tan not running the dim.